The Simulation Football League presents The Kramer Show. Your non-stop SFL action begins now.
Welcome to The Kramer Show. Thank you, Mike Daggs. I am here, the one and only Kramer is here, and we are going to get into this in 3, 2, and 1, the recap of the week. I don't want to say it. Let's listen to old Rich Pratchard say it.
The recap of the week.
All right, so the Charleston Predators obliterated the New Orleans Pharaohs 52-7. Denver Nightwings upset the Vancouver Legion 29-27. The Atlanta Swarm made quick work of the Carolina Skyhawks 45-24. Houston Hyenas squeaked past the London Knights 21-20. Jacksonville Kings took out the Sioux Falls Sparrows 35-17. Chicago Wildcats devoured the Seattle Tyrants 45-27. Mexico City Aztecs defeated Tulsa Desperados 26-13. Florida Storm was too much for the Baltimore Vultures 27-20. St. Louis Gladiators stay alive, defeating Queen City Crusaders 26-13. Las Vegas Fury victorious on the road against Arizona Scorpions 23-27. Week 11's gone, people, and that's what means only Week 12 is coming up next, and you gotta love it. You gotta know that it's crunch time. There's a lot of games on the line this week. We'll get more of that on my Who You Got a little bit later on. But Week 11, one of the games that stood out to me the most was the Denver Nightwings taking out Vancouver Legion. Yeah, I got to represent Denver Nightwings. I got my hoodie on right now. Got that on. I got the Nightwings on the sleeve. By the way, Sector 6 houses all of the simulation football teams who actually have submitted their design, their mock-up, and the stores are open for most of the teams in the SFL, so go ahead, check it out. Make sure, of course, this is what I always do with my team, leave that review on that product you purchase, because that's only going to make simulation football much better. But going back into the week reaction, Las Vegas Fury, I was surprised, because as a Denver Nightwing, we needed the Fury to lose, and we also needed St. Louis to lose, and of course they both won. So it's always good to see, not like upsets happen, but upsets did happen this week. That's what makes simulation football a lot interesting. And there's a lot of things, reason why players got upsets, and because there's players of the week.
Players of the week.
Offensive player of the week goes to Chicago Wildcats, Liam Hammer. 7 catches, 133 yards, and collecting 4 touchdowns for the Wildcats. Special teams player of the week goes to myself, Kramer Jackman. 5 field goals, 100% accuracy. That has not changed since ever. And the longest was 46. His career long, my career long is 54 yards. It's kind of odd to not see a kicker go past 54 yards. 55 is a little bit. Apparently, it's a reach for kickers. Not this one. So whenever it happens, to be prepared. Defensive player of the week goes to Las Vegas Fury's Max Jackson. He was all over the place with 10 tackles. He had a sack, a pass deflection, 3 interceptions, and a touchdown. If you're a defensive player, that is what you need and what you want to do, every single day. Because you get a sack when you're known for pass deflecting and getting interceptions. When you got a sack, you know you're on something and you're on a roll when you know that game, even though they won 23-7, he was on a roll. On a roll for that defense, pretty much a big reason why Las Vegas defeated Arizona. But congratulations to Liam Hammer, Kramer Jackman, and Max Jackson. A lot of J last names and J first names in the SFL. But there's going to be some great football to watch and to enjoy in Week 12. I know there's a lot on the line. I'm going to tease that once again because I'm going to get into the Who You Gots here a little bit later on. And you got to think, this is the toughest week, the toughest part, the toughest way to, game plan, because every team right now needs to win. I know there's some teams that have been eliminated for the playoffs, but those teams should not give up. It's going to be one of the most exciting playoff runs that I've seen and actually been a part of, minus Denver last year won the season 13 championship. Yes, that was exciting for my viewing experience. And now the fact that there's a lot on the line and every team's really close, we'll get more of that because, of course, playoffs is coming around the corner. We'll get more into the playoffs in a second, but I want to fix. Let's fix for next year, for next season 15 playoffs. And I know I don't know if they're going to do anything like that in the SFLM. This is just my little thought, my train of thought. I always like putting a spin on things. I'm not going to give you all the updates I've given this week. I need to give you mine. I need to make an impact, through your minds thinking, oh, they could actually do something like this. Maybe Cam might need to write this down. I'm not saying he has to, But I'm going to fix the playoff system for next year, and that's because there's going to be 22 teams in the SFL. 10 teams already clinched the playoffs in the SFL to get to the playoffs. Yeah, there's 20 teams. Now, 22, are we going to see 11 teams clinch? No, there's no way. We're not going to use an odd number to clinch the playoffs at birth. So, 22 teams in the SFL, let's make 2 divisions. I think we should easily make 2 divisions come and actually make it in fruition, because why not? I see there's a lot of, if you want to go to, with baseball, you got an AL and an NL. You have an NFC and AFC in football. You all have, in basketball, you have an East and the West. So there's no reason why the Simulation Football League can't go to adopt a division. So the divisions, I think, the most easiest, if you're still going on a 20-team format, well, it depends on when we're going to see teams that's going to be in the expansion teams, see where they're located, so that might have to differentiate some of the stuff. But if you have the SFL North and the SFL South, because if you use the Mason-Dixon line, and then, of course, you have London that's all the way across the globe, you'd have to actually add them into the north side of this. But as I pull up this graphic right now on the screen, you can see that easily the Mason-Dixon line has the biggest chance of separating teams. Yeah, it was good that Alaska moved to Florida this past season, because then it would have kind of been a little bit awkward, and it's because we'd have 11 teams up in the north. But if you look at the Mason-Dixon line, still you have the Tulsa Desperados, Arizona, that's the second team, Aztecs is the third team, Hyenas is the fourth team, the Pharaohs is the fifth, Florida Storm is the sixth, the Kings is the seventh, Atlanta is the eighth, Carolina is the ninth, and Charleston's is the 10th. So that's an easy 10 teams that's underneath, so that'd be the SFL South. And of course, the SFL North will include London Knights, since they're always above. I think they'd even be above if you look at a world map anyways. You have Fury, Nightwings, Gladiators, Baltimore Vultures, Queen City Corsairs, Sioux Falls Sparrows, Chicago Wildcats, the Seattle Tyrants, and the Vancouver Legion. So this is a good way to adapt or adopt a type of, a division and then you can actually have, it makes sense to our division rivals, because with Denver, our division rival is the Las Vegas Fury. So we're all together in a division, and we're going to pretty much wreak havoc. So have, 6 teams make it into the playoffs for each division. So we're going to see 12 teams in, which is going to be expanded a little bit. But we're going to see at least a better bracket style, and it will also be less of a headache for Cam trying to do the strength of victory. What happened this past week? It would probably eliminate a lot of things. You have to win the division in order to at least clinch a 1 seed. I think it's the easiest way for myself to process things, to make it a little bit easier for you, Cam. But that's just me. This is a complete opinion. Anybody can run with that. Let me know what you guys think, though. Message me whenever you listen to this. Let me know what you think of, my playoff structure fix. Have 6 teams on each division go in. And I went a long, roundabout way to doing that, but I think a divisions process would actually work in the SFL. So one thing I've been going over and looking at every single time, every single week. I know 3 weeks ago, I said there'd be at least 500 interceptions being thrown in the SFL, and guess what? We are only 12 interceptions away of getting 500. 500. So we're at 488 interceptions. So I was thinking, there's 488 interceptions. What's the touchdowns looking like? Because for a fact it's not up there. Because there's this is a great running back league, and if people want to think, oh no, it's a quarterback league. No, it's a running back league. I think it's a both right now, because the way the production is with quarterbacks and running backs, it's kind of equaling out. But 376 touchdowns have been thrown compared to 488 interceptions. That's ridiculous. That is nothing that you do not want to, be overachieving about. But you got people like Christian Christensen, who has 33 touchdowns and 32 interceptions. I think that's what he has. I know he has one more touchdown rather than his interceptions, but Christian Christensen's doing amazing this season. So you really can't knock on that. Yeah, there's some great defense being played, great defense being schemed against players, but there's still these elite quarterbacks who are getting the job done, I should say. But 488 interceptions this year, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Playoffs?
Yeah, the playoffs are coming up, and that's what's going to happen next week. So let's just get a little thing what's going on. The Carolina and Houston have joined Seattle and London with losses last week. For these teams, I guess they're going to be jockeying for, better draft spots, and of course that's not a bad thing, but you got to end the regular season on the right note. You want to make sure you're doing it right. So win your games. Don't just, if your coaches, don't just sit back and game plan for, we're going to just throw some new plays in there. No, game plan to win. That's what you need to do if you're not in the playoffs. Upset some teams. I know some teams are actually playing teams that are trying to, seed better rather than, the Houston-Seattle game. So do something with that. Try to eliminate teams from the playoffs. That is your goal for this week. So that doesn't mean you should throw it. It does not mean you should throw this game at all if you're either of these 4 teams. 6 teams right now are tied for 5 and 6. That include Las Vegas, Florida, Denver, St. Louis, Mexico City, and Tulsa. This all is relying on strength of schedule and also victories for these teams. So these guys, those 6 teams, they have to win this week, and then you have to rely on strength of schedule. It's a little tricky. So if Las Vegas and Florida win, since they're already sitting out projected at the 9 and 10 spot, they win, they're in. That's how things work. That is how all this works. And if Chicago loses and Denver wins, Chicago's out, Denver's in. A lot of things can happen. I think that's how my mind's processing this stuff because I know Chicago has lost to Denver. So we'll just have to see what actually happens. Chicago's the lone survivor, though, at 6-5 right now. They beat London. This week. They will clinch a playoff spot automatically, no matter what. Atlanta is the number 1 seed right now, and I don't see them. Well, they've already clinched number 1 seed, so they really can't give up that spot. Kramer, you are a derp. But Vancouver, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Sioux Falls, and Queen City are jockeying for, seeding position. Vancouver has not been looking good recently. I would not be surprised if they are upset at all, since I know Denver upset them last week. So I feel like if Sioux Falls can get around it, they can possibly open up the number 2 spot in the SFL, which I hope that's something that we can see. So we're all excited, all looking forward to this because playoff time is here. And it's going to be exciting football to watch, especially on For the Fans Network, 11 Sports, or however you watch it, even if it's on Twitch. I know I watch on Twitch because I like chatting with you guys. But this is a lot of people are joining in. They probably don't know what's going on. The SFL minor league season is coming around the corner, so please get that subscription and get in there. But enjoy the playoffs. If you're brand new into the SFL and you don't understand how this stuff works, watch the playoffs and see the best football games of your viewing experience because that's when we're going to see the best of the best come out. Look at Seattle's run last year. They came from behind a lot. I know they lost the championship game. They came from behind a lot. I think one of the games was 48-46, and they just won off a walk-off. It was ridiculous. Most of the exciting games do come in playoff time. So let's just, Rich, let's just end this off of...
Who you got?
All right, so New Orleans Pharaohs versus the Baltimore Vultures. New Orleans can throw a monkey wrench in Baltimore's playoff seeding, and I don't think there's a chance, though, for a 5-7 team to make the playoffs, but weird things have happened. We saw that happen last year with Houston, so we can possibly see it again with New Orleans, but a lot of things have to factor into it. So let's see. I got New Orleans on this one. Houston Hyenas versus the Seattle Tyrants. The battle for a better draft pick. Like what I said, prepare for this game. You need to prepare for this game. I know it's 2 teams that aren't in the playoffs. It's kind of weird to think that, even though last week there was also London versus Houston, 2 teams that weren't going to be in the playoffs then. You got to prepare. Come on, you don't want to get that. Okay, we got the number 2. We got the second draft pick and number 2 draft pick in this upcoming draft. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see teams I could possibly go for Houston. I could possibly go for Seattle. Win the game. But if you're either team, try to win. It'd be funny if this would go into 3 overtimes or 4 overtimes or 5 overtimes, so they don't want to give it up. That's not going to happen now, but it'd be funny. But I got Seattle on this one. London Knights versus Chicago Wildcats. London can make things interesting for Cam to tally up the strength of schedule points. That's why, earlier I said that I could fix, the postseason picture, but it's not going to happen. I want London to win this game, not just because I don't like Chicago. I do enjoy Chicago. I like all the teams here in the SFL. I just want to see some chaos. Give me London for this one. Florida Storm versus the Mexico City Aztecs. Now, this is a game. This is probably This is a spotlight game of the week for myself. I'll throw that on there. Oops, I just hit the mic. And because either team has to win this game. If they win this game, one of these 2 teams are going to make it to the postseason. Florida loses, they're out. Florida wins, they're in. Mexico City loses, they're out. And then, of course, they win. They could possibly make the playoffs. It's a win-you're-in situation for this game, and it has to happen that way. But I think Florida's luck has ran out since they've been killing it, making it to the postseason year in and year out, and advancing far. This is the team that's not shy of winning championships. That they've won a lot. It's good to see some new faces in there and trying to win. Like them last year. So I think Mexico City Aztecs is going to win this game. Tulsa Desperados versus the Charleston Predators. Tulsa could change up the seeding with a win and possibly make the playoff run, but I'm not going to say it's actually going to happen that way because things are different. Things can, I guess, a different thing can happen, and you just got to game plan the right way. Charleston's a really good defensive-minded team, sitting at 7-4, so Tulsa, you got to win this one. Got to win it. St. Louis Gladiators versus Carolina Skyhawks. It's a must-win game for the Gladiators. If they win, they are possibly in. Depends on what the schedules look like. And when it can improve, and with that win for St. Louis can improve a draft pick spot for Carolina. I know Carolina's a hot ticket team to go to because they're crazy. They're a great community. They're a great fan base. They have a radio station that broadcasts all their game live. So you got to think this is it might be a win situation if they lose, but then again, it's not. So please try your best. St. Louis, I got you on this one this week. Arizona Scorpions versus the Queen City Crusaders. Scorpions can affect seeding this way. They can make the Carolina Skyhawks 7-5 and possibly make them into like a 6 seed or maybe a 5 seed, either one of those. So I got Arizona on this one. Atlanta Swarm versus the Las Vegas Fury. It's a must-win game for Las Vegas, or they can be out of the postseason picture. And if they do lose, and if other teams lose, they're in. But they need to win this game. They have to win this game. But it's against Atlanta Swarm, who are not shy of losing games. Let's go with Atlanta on this one. Vancouver versus Sioux Falls Sparrows. Let's go with Vancouver for this one, and the win for Sioux Falls can free up seeding for teams in the postseason. Denver Nightwings versus Jacksonville. It's a must-win game for Denver as Jay Brick, the fullback, walks in behind me for Denver. Must-win game for Denver to keep their playoff chances alive, and a lose for Las Vegas is a good thing for Denver to possibly win this one. Give me Denver on this one. This has been the Kramer Show for Week 12 action. I'm going to have a better one for you next week because it is playoffs and a lot of things can happen around then. So, chaos is what I want, and chaos is how we're going to end it.